Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose, conquesting yourselves and conquesting things around you. It is wonderful to be alive. I hope you guys are enjoying life. No matter if things are going good, bad, it's all great experiences. And certainly, as you're learning to control yourselves, you'll see that, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit today. Our topic for today, we'll take it from two different viewers. A Metal FA80 talked about how semen retention can help you with difficult situations. And that guy, our viewer, that guy, talked about that 90% of depression can be solved with SR. I will kind of put those together, and we'll talk about how to solve situations or how to overcome depression through SR. I'll have to think of a title before I actually put it up together. Let's do some shout outs before we do that, but let me see what I got here. We got Dynamine, day 7. Keep it up, my friend. Good job. Oscar Sandoval, thank you. Does SR reverse diabetes? So I don't have, obviously, scientific proof of this. I do believe, however, there's a lot of good components with SR that can help with any health situation. And maybe I'll do an actual video, my viewpoints on that. But I think certainly SR can help you with, maintaining blood pressure, circulation, all those things, and obviously get you away from eating all that sugar and things like that. So I'm sure it probably helps you at least manage it. I'm not sure if you can overcome it, but I know you can manage it. So that's a good question. Tomislovjakobovic, thank you, my friend. Cynical retention, we're going to do one on that. So Thomas, I will, I'll make sure we do a topic on that. Thank you. Good idea there. Gio the Genius, thank you. Knowledge, Berakah, got on the plane. Good job, my friend. Thank you. You've been through a lot, my friend. Keep it up. Jennings, thank you. Alvin, thank you. Young Black Jedi, thank you. Crazypkm, thank you. The real Spence Roberts, thank you, my friend. TKO, thank you. The Berakah, New York City, thank you, my friend. Jzking, does wife and son know you're retaining? Yes, they do. And, a couple things. Obviously, you have to have commitment with people in the family to know what you're doing. Obviously, I think my son and family, they all see kind of benefits of it. Also, you can also still have intimacy, however, even if you're not releasing. So there's a lot of things to this when you look at it, but good question from my friend Jzking there. Players game video on 90 days, 87 days. Yes, I'll try to do one on 90 days as well. That seems to be a date line that we look at as being important. Universal self-development, dislike the shout. Again, the reason I say that for a lot of the new viewers is that it's really a clarion call, a battle call that we need to kind of wake up and realize what's happening in our society, and that we're being drained and told and brainwashed to follow a certain type of system, and we're draining all the young men, and that's not a very good thing for many reasons. And so it's kind of a wake-up call. So, all right, well, thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. All right, so let's talk about our topic here once again. A Metal F80 and that guy has talked about two issues that are very similar here. So let's talk about this, and we'll talk about this maybe in how to manage life with SR. Maybe that's the way I do this. So I believe that if you take a step back, you can actually kind of look at life in ways, basically to my life, there's good and evil. There's good things and bad things, and sometimes you have control of some of these things and sometimes you don't. And so there's some things that happen to us that we get stressed out about a lot. There's sometimes things that happen that make us happy. All these are different types of emotions, things that kind of work with us, and we have to kind of handle what we call life. And so when we talk about difficult situations, a lot of times those situations are happening because there's something happening that we don't like. So we don't like something happening, and so to us that's a difficult situation. Maybe we've lost our job, maybe we've lost our marriage, our a relationship with people. Maybe you've lost weight. Maybe you've had an accident. Maybe something's happened to you. These are difficult times that we go through. And each one of us, no matter how wealthy, popular, whatever you might be, goes through difficult times. You may go through difficult times in different situations, and as a result of that, different types of things go on. But we're all going to go through those tough times. So the old saying is that the tough people make tough rules. And tough rules, when I'm talking about tough rules, is within yourself. You're making those tough rules, and you're adhering to those rules by a level of self-control. And so tough situations don't get affected by tough people. Tough people, they take care of tough situations. And this is important to realize, because I think one of the things that I see in society is that our young men especially, and I won't focus on the women because most of our audience is men, from all ages. But a lot of our younger men, and obviously older men as well, they don't have that mental toughness. They don't have that mental get up and get something done. I'll do this until I'm gonna not be able to do it again. All these things are things that make you a masculine, high value male. And part of that is because you're able to fight off all the things that are going around with you that are not positive situations. I always say, God, give me more problems, because you're trusting me more to solve those problems. So to me, life is a matter of solving problems. Now, I've been around 64 years, so I do a little bit of insight on the problems, because I've had a lot of problems, and I continue to have problems. And interesting enough that we talk about this issue, I believe that as you get deeper into semen retention, no fat, monk mode, there's going to be times where you're going to be hit with lots of problems, because I think that the Satan is testing you, the evil one's testing you, and I think to make sure that you are as solid as you are trying to become. And obviously it's a learning process for all of us. So as you go through things, we're going to fall down once in a while, but the tough individual gets back up and says, let's try it again. Let's try it again. It's only the people that give up. And a lot of times, if you're not strong mentally, you're not going to be able to get back up, or you're going to try to cry you're a victim or something like that. We're going to do a video on male role models, because I do think that's one of the issues with a lot of young males. If they don't have a strong dad, or any dad at all, and give thanks, blessings to all the young females out there having children, single moms, things like that. But they just can't do the job the male. The male is a different type of being, different structure in some ways, and how that person looks at life and trying to be that provider and protector. And the bottom line really is that man should be the one providing and protecting. Now, do I say that that's happened to me through my whole life? No. There's times that I wasn't that strong, and a lot of it went back down to the lack of self-control, the lack of self-discipline. So how does this then work with all your problems that you're talking about that we face all the time? And every day, every time you do something, if you're not doing something, obviously you're not going to have any problems. But then again, you're not doing anything. You're sitting at home just watching TV, playing video games and things like that. But because you're out there doing things, you're going to run into obstacles, difficult situations. And I think that ends up then getting back to what that guy is talking about. I think it's that guy, yes. Focusing on the fact that we have a lot of depression. I know there's 1 out of 4 women take pills every day. I think that was a statistic I saw. And I'm sure it's the same thing for men as well. And what happens is a lot of men tend to get so stressed out, and they're so deplenished when it comes to their energy, that they're going to react in a way in which they're going to get depression. So I think when he says 90% of depression can be solved with SR, I think he's onto something with that, because I do think you can eliminate a lot of SR, eliminate a lot of depression, if you're knowing how to handle the situation. Now, what do I say that for? And we'll go back to a metal F80's comment about handling difficult situations. So we know we have a lot of stress. We know we have a lot of things out there that could make us stressful. And a lot of sickness comes from that. I've been sick, like I said, in a long time. If you break down the word, a body in distress is when you get sick. And so you see this a lot with people. So, but you have to have distress, which means you're in stress. And when you have a lot of stress, now you're talking about something that can affect all your body organs, your head, all your weight, all kinds of stuff. And to me, I think that's the precursor for a lot of diseases, a lot of things we have, is not being able to handle that stress and the anxiety and the toll that takes on your body. It weakens your body enough that other diseases can come in. So how do you make your body strong? That's going to be the key. And now we go then back to the solution to the whole problem. And the solution is your self-control and semen retention. Your control is holding on semen retention, using that energy, keeping in your system. Now, if you keep that into your system, now you become stronger. And we've talked about the benefits a lot, so let me highlight again a few of the benefits. As you become stronger, your energy now is building your muscles back up. Now you're getting strength back. You're able then to fight off diseases a lot easier, in my opinion. I think a lot of times people don't really understand that if you're keeping your energy, you're going to be more at 100% than you are at 10%. And so your body is going to be able to handle any sort of infections, things that come to you. And I think this is the reason why you see a lot of people who've lived a long time. They've learned this truth, and that they're able to use this. And so, should a person actually grow old and die? I don't know. That's a good question. I think I'm going to try to find this out as I get older. I mean, when I look at Kendler's book, A Fountain of Youth, he's saying no. I mean, people, they will pass away at some point, but you should be exuberant and vibrant up to the day you pass away. But what do we see? We see a lot of people who are the opposite, very frail, very, very sick, infirm, all these things. Now, why does it happen? A lot of it is the inability to handle stress. And I do think there's probably something there to talk about SR too. Are those people, have they been doing a lot of that, saving their energy over the years? I don't know. When you see people who are emaciated in their bones, and you have to wonder, how did they get to that point? And, old age, you can say, is one thing, but I just don't know. I mean, it's a very interesting question to me, and I think something to kind of think about as time goes on. But if you're keeping your energy, you're not losing your energy. In my mind, and I'm just thinking theoretically here, in my mind, that would mean that you would basically, become stronger as you got older. Now, of course, metabolism changes and, collagen, all the kind of stuff we talk about has an effect. And eventually, you obviously, have to kind of pass on. But the thing is that I just think that as more I do this, the more I realize how important the energy is to keep. And as a result of this, then, now you talk about handling difficult situations, like our friend A Metal, F80 is asking. You're going to be able to be a lot more calmer, a lot more relaxed. You're going to be a lot more focused. Those three things allow you to handle difficult situations a lot better. You're not going to be as anxious. You're not going to be as angry, upset, flying off the handle. I had a conversation today, and because of the retention and things that I had, I could have been really angry. I didn't. And this situation went 10 times better because of the way that I handled it this time compared to some other times in the past. So when you look at the situation, it is a very important fact to realize that if you're keeping your energy and you're calming yourself down because of all the semen retention and the monk mode things you were doing, then you're going to have a better effect in difficult situations. You're going to be able to make better decisions. You're going to be able to connect with people better. And again, the attraction you get when it comes to retention is awesome, because you'll get people who will say nice things to you, talk with you, they'll work with you because they find you a person who's appealing. And it doesn't necessarily mean even tell what you look like. You're going to look better because of the aura around you, the energy around you. So those difficult situations may become better because people are helping you instead of, on the other side of things, you pissing people off and getting people upset, and you're making people, not want to work with you. And I've seen people like that. They don't even realize they're turning people off all the time, and they have such a bad attitude that people will shun them, stay away from them. And you don't want that attitude, especially in business and the things you're doing. So you want to cultivate a positive attitude, and a lot of that will be helped, obviously, by keeping your energy and, keeping, the proteins, the vitamins, all the minerals, things that are in your system, because God has given you that. And I do think, again, I go back to looking at people who, in the Bible's numbers of, you may think is really out of whack, people living 300-400 years. But in a sense, how long can you live and be someone who is strong and still vibrant? You can do this, I think, for a long period of time, because it's going to help you then with the level of stress. I think so many things in the society hurt us, whether it's dieting, whether it's stress levels, those type of things, because we're not able to handle those things. And certainly I think if you're able to keep retention, then all of a sudden you do that. And obviously from that guy's comment, now you're talking about a situation where people become so enthralled with not being able to handle the situations that they end up getting depressed. They're wanting to give up. And again, I think that a lot of things that are happening in society, Satan is putting in place to try to get us to move away from our Creator, our God. And as a result of that, depression is one of those key ones. And we talked about this before. I don't always recall whether it's a Bible verse or maybe it's just something I saw in a book, in a religious book, or one of the Catholic books that I saw. But there was some story about someone talking to the devil. The devil had all these cards out there, and the person was asking, devil, which is the card, if you had any choice, which is the card that you would use to attack people, right? And he looked at all the cards, and you had earthquakes, you had hurricanes, you had all kinds of things, cancer, things like that. And he picked the one up, and he showed it to the person. He says, and the person was in amazement, because it was one of depression, losing hope. And he basically said, he said, I can't do anything to anybody. This is what the story says. I can't do anything to anyone until they give up hope. Once they give up hope, then I can do anything I want with any of the other ones. So the key, he feels, and this is the story again, that the story talks about is the devil needs to have us lose hope. And so I think the devil does that through all the things we talk about. Little by little, chinking at your armor, knocking you down here and there, to the point where you lose God entirely, and now you're just serving him. And you're doing any kind of lascivious behavior it can be a part of, and you can actually, any kind of sexual behavior, any kind of, drinking alcohol, those type of things. When you see the old stories, and I just saw one on Sodom and Gomorrah, I think it was a video of some sort. Again, how they destroyed themselves is no different than Babylon, no different than Roman Empire. Anyway, what happened was they tend to break down within. As time went on in Sodom and in Gomorrah, what happened was that the people forgot about God. They started loosening their rules up. Instead of becoming strict on rules, they became you can do anything you want to do. And so people started lusting for each other, lusting for animals. Even outsiders came in and they would treat them very poorly. There's a lot of stories about Sodom back in the old days, back in those days, and they would just do anything they want. They thought they were above God. They'd become, in a sense, God. And this is where the key goes in. So, one of the things that retention is important with is that now you're following God's law. You're basically not, unless you're procreating, you're not releasing something God gave you just for your pleasure. So having some self-discipline, not the drink, not to smoke, not to have sexual affairs, or releasing. If you do, you have the intimacy maybe with your wife. Besides that, you're basically going ahead and not releasing and holding energy in so God can use it for you in other ways. This becomes crucial then in not only solving depression, but other things you have too. I believe this is an elixir of life. That's why I go back to, why I love that book with Kendler's book so much, because he's talking really what he's saying. He doesn't say it in so many words within the book, but as you look at this book, you realize the whole idea is that the fountain of youth is the semen you have. And if you look at this, you'll see this more and more. So I think the thing is as you look at this, the whole idea is that you really want to become strong with your Creator. Of course, you're going to live an abundant life, but you're going to do His purposes as well. And as a result of that, now I have to go back, take a step back and says, what do I need to do? So I think in most of these cases, if you're able to do it over a period of time. Now, I know somebody wanted to talk about 90 days. I am at like 1,800 days. I will tell you that you become less and less worried about things around you. You become more and more focused on the spiritual. So I can understand after Malcolm X, said 12 years, and a lot of Buddhists and people say this 12 years, you can start getting closer to God. I can believe that, because I could see this in almost 5 years, looking at this thing over 5 years, focusing on, okay, what is it? I'm not really that interested anymore as much in the material things. They don't excite me like they used to. The thing is that the internal stuff now, talking with God, meditating, all those things, to my mind, seems so much more important than they were. So I think as you think about this is something to think about. Great questions from both a Metal and a Metal F80 and that guy, talking about how we can use the whole journey of SR and what we're on to be and overcome any sort of bad situations we're in, overcome depression, any kind of mental health types of things. I think it certainly can help those situations a great deal. Now, I say this, and I think one of the topics we'll look at is why are people back in the 50s, 60s, back and you look at these old movies, things, why are they looking so much better? Well, I think part of it is because of retention. I think with the pornography and all the things on TV, things you see, and it's so accessing the internet is so easy. I mean, you have to wonder, anything is free like pornography, that can't be good. And certainly that's not a good type of thing to get involved in. So you wonder, I mean, that was more common back in those days. And this is why you see more of that now. Now you walk down the streets, you see a lot of zombies walking around. Men who are just zombies, drained out, and they don't even know it because they've been so wrapped up into this world of saying, okay, I need to release because that's the right thing to do. That's going to make me healthier. It seems to me it goes the opposite way. And I've never felt more healthier in my life over the last 5 years doing no-fap and moving into monk mode. I mean, this is just incredible to me. So I think the more you do that, the more you see how much more calmer you are, relaxed you are, and you can deal with all these type of situations, especially things like depression and things. Things happen bad. I mean, I've had a slew of things happen, I think, certainly over the last month and a half. But I think as you're on the streak longer, you're taking them more in stride, realizing this too shall pass, and you just move on to something else. So, hope this helps, my friend. Great topics. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Please continue giving me ideas to talk about. Give me comments, feedback. I appreciate, of course, donations, things like that. That's always a good type of thing, too. I think I eventually get to the point where I'm going to graduate here and go into get a computer and kind of focus more on maybe giving you guys more quality types of videos as we go along. Right now, I just kind of want to get the message out and want to help you guys as much as I can. So, all right, until then, 2 things I always ask you next time we meet. 1, every day is a new day to a great warrior, and each one of you guys are a great warrior. And number 2, we always have to remember, no matter how old we are, no matter where we are in our world and where we are in our progression, our journey, the evil one is always around us. It's surrounding us, trying to get us to get away from God and our Creator. You keep the energy in, you continue to put your helmet on, your shield on, and you continue to battle on! God bless you guys until tomorrow and until the next day. Take care.